Hey everyone, I'm Sage Valentine, and let's get down to this review of Fox's Scream Queens Season 1, Episode number 10. Where do I begin? Man, this episode was another good one, and I swear the Radwells were just a hot mess, and the hottest mess had to be the mother because Bunny Radwell had no shame. She had no chill, and she did not care if she hurt anybody else's feelings. She made it clear she did not like Chanel, and she definitely didn't like Hester, obviously, because she kept calling her a poo belly. Now we see where, obviously, Chad gets his, That's why Chad lacks a filter when it comes to speaking to people, and Chanel in particular. And there were probably a lot of people watching this episode wondering why Bunny Radwell and the father and the siblings were all kind of being, and the wife were all kind of being like a little bit like nasty to Chanel and obviously Hester. But we're just going to focus on Chanel for the moment. The reason is that the Radwells are old money, which basically started in this country, like Bunny Radwell said, 30 years before the Mayflower hit Plymouth Rock. So they have a crap load of money, and Chanel is rich, but her family's money cannot compare to the Radwell's money. And I wonder what her family is involved in, and will we like really meet her family? Because on a side note, she explained about her mother and everything, but my question is that are we going to meet that woman, and is she really what Chanel says she is? And could Chanel possibly be adopted, and that's why her mother acts the way she does towards her? Yeah, that's just one of my theories. Considering the way that Bunny Radwell and her husband and the siblings reacted to Chanel coming to Thanksgiving, apparently this is not a big thing. I'm assuming that Chad has brought home quite a few women to the house, and the family has basically humiliated, embarrassed, and read them for filth, and they never came back. And Bunny was extremely relentless when it came to Chanel, but see, Chanel could kind of handle it, but poor Hester, Chanel number 6, oh my god, what they did to her during that Pictionary game was horrible. It was funny. I mean, I did laugh, but I did feel sorry for Hester because of the fact that Hester was not used to people like that, and Hester had no comebacks, and I was so happy that Chanel came to her aid, and I'm glad that she did that. Now let's talk about poor Chanel number 3. When she arrived home, she wasn't greeted with a, "How are you doing, Chanel? Is everything all right?" She was greeted with a mom drinking red wine out of like one of those big huge cups, I can't think, or glasses, I can't think of what the name of it is. And the fact is that her father was more concerned with her late arrival more than the fact that she was chased down by this killer and almost killed. And because she was late, she was forced to sit in the back on one of those expensive easy chairs so she could sit with the help, basically, because she couldn't sit on the right side of her father on that lazy boy. I think those were lazy boys, I'm not sure, because she came late. So they basically had to eat TV dinners on old-fashioned TV trays. That was bizarre. I definitely would have gotten up and would have just left. I'm glad that she came back to Kappa Kappa Tau, and Dean Munch put together this very cute Thanksgiving dinner, despite the fact that she was going to eat the turkey that she had pardoned. So we get to the scene whereas the crew that's at the Kappa Kappa Tau Thanksgiving little gathering starts trying to figure out who the killer is. Now, the dean points a finger at Chanel number 3 because she saw Chanel coming up the stairs as soon as, I guess, she heard, being the dean, the whole scuffle between the Red Devil killer and Gigi. But it turns out that Chanel 3 was coming from the bathroom and she had been sweating because I guess she's a serial sweater when she poops. I don't know. But then everybody started looking at the dean because obviously the dean had a lot to gain with being the killer. But unfortunately, she's not the right age to be the killer. And despite the fact that she did say she was allergic to lunch meats, obviously because of the, as I believe it was Chanel 5 pointed out, the sulfites in the meat, the same sulfites that the dean ingested while she was drinking that red wine. So the dean was obviously lying, and I guess she just didn't want to eat the meat that was in that sandwich when she was at the what was that called, the asylum. Then Grace's dad pops up out of nowhere and is trying to say that Grace was the killer because Grace disappeared for 3 days, and all of a sudden the Chanels remember seeing Grace walking through Kappa Kappa Tau because Grace came there to see the sorority house because, as she said, she wanted to join the same sorority that her mom had been a part of. And she crossed paths with Chanel number 1 and spoke to Chanel number 5 and 3. But I think it's pretty funny how her father can finger her as the killer, but cannot see how weird Gigi is, obviously. And then it could be possible, as they were thinking, that Grace's father, Wes, could be the killer. Unfortunately, he isn't. All he is a bit of a creepy stalker, despite the fact that he was saying that's being a good dad. Nah, her dad is creepy, and he's a bit of a stalker. He's stalking Grace everywhere she goes. But Pete believes that Grace's father, Wes, could possibly be the killer because he was present at quite a few Kappa Kappa Tau parties in the 90s, I guess 95, 94. And he showed up on this camera that Chanel had placed in the meat locker. But Wes claimed that he didn't see any dead bodies in the meat locker while he was there grabbing up all this meat for his Paleolithic diet, allegedly. But I think that the best evidence that Pete pulled out had to be when he mentioned that Wes was the father of the murdered twins. I'm still trying my best to recover from that. I'm like, wait a minute. So I'm wondering, did the twins know? And I was like, did Wes know? Even though he claims he didn't know, did he know? See, this is why I love this show, because this show, oh man, anytime you think one thing, they pop up with something else and they just completely throw you off track. Okay, so let's chat about that big reveal at the end of the episode. What is my reaction to that? For some reason, I was worried and I thought that it was going to be like Denise's head or Denise's arm or something, or her foot. But when it turned out to be Gigi, I will admit that I did react and like kind of like scream like, oh my god, at the same time as everybody did. But I cannot say that I'm surprised that Gigi got killed, because once that female Red Devil killed her brother, all bets were off. Nobody was safe, especially Gigi, and I don't know why she handed that electric saw knife to the killer, especially after what happened with Boone. But I guess she thought that she was safe. But thank you guys so much for tuning into this review. Don't forget to rate this video, check the links below, leave me a comment, let me know what you thought about this episode, who you think is the killer, and more importantly, what do you think is going to happen in the next episode, as well as don't forget to hit that subscribe button and subscribe to my brand of crazy. I love you guys. Thank you so much. Bye, guys. Bye.